Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to raise a toast to the 23-24 Chelsea Premier League season. It was good, wasn't it?
It was good while it lasted. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hope. I enjoyed the sort of glory of it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we've just ended the season.
Season's over.
Gloriously.
Season's over.
Yeah.
It ain't good, mate, is it?
It's not.
Chelsea run out 2-0 losers today against Everton at Goodison Park. Let me just say, a very decent Everton side, by the way. 1 loss in 8 games. Dyche Ball is well and truly in effect at Goodison Park at a minute.
Solid team. I mean, they were pushing for the Europa League places, weren't they?
Mate, they actually are now, ironically. And I'll tell you what, we're nowhere to be seen in that Europa League match. Obviously, it's a massive disappointment. I'm sat here right now. We've got a domestic cup game coming up. We're in the League Cup against Newcastle. And we're pretty much hanging our hopes on that and the FA Cup because the Premier League isn't going to return anything too satisfactory for us Chelsea fans right now. We're sat in 12th in the table, the same position we finished last season in. However, at this exact point last season, at least we were in 10th, 3 points better off than we are now. And I think that fingers need to start being pointed in some direction or another, whether it's the players, whether it's the ownership, whether it's Mauricio Pochettino. We will discuss it in this video. And the main talking point I think we do need to address is the question of, is Mauricio Pochettino now on borrowed time? But before we get into that, I want to give a massive shout out to today's video sponsors. This video is brought to you by Manscaped. A lot of you guys are watching me for the Chelsea content. However, I know there are a lot of you that watch for the facial hair. You like the moustache, you like the little goatee, but you do wonder from time to time just how I get it so smooth on the sides and just how this is shaped so perfectly. And Manscaped are the guys that I have to thank for that. And if you would like to get 20% off of your next Manscaped order, all you need to do is this. Click the link to the Manscaped website in the description for this video, put your order in, and at the checkout, you put in the discount code Joey Knight. Now you can imagine my excitement when today I opened my package sent to me by Manscaped, and it was the Performance Package 5.0. We have the Lawnmower 5.0, perfect for the tash, but if you're thinking about what about downstairs, it is the best ball trimmer of all time. No nips, no cuts, just perfect smooth precision. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Weed Whacker. Now this is the tool you want to get rid of those unwanted nose and ear hairs. But as well as that, in the Performance Package 5.0, you also get your very classy, very smooth and sophisticated Boxers 2.0. As well as that, Manscaped thought they would sort you out even further by throwing in the Shears 3.0 nail grooming kit. So if you want to look good, if you want to feel good, and if you want to shave good, and also if you want to support the channel as Manscaped are supporting me, please make sure that your next purchase when it comes to hair grooming and hair care on your body is from Manscaped. The link is in the description. Go onto their website, buy your products, and before you check out, make sure you put in the promo code Joey Knight so that you can receive your 20% discount. Thank you once again to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into it. Josh, what do you think, mate?
I thought it was absolutely Kieran. Absolute Kieran Dyer.
Kieran Dyer.
It was an appalling performance. How many losses can we stand as Chelsea fans? How many poor performances?
We've had 7 so far this season.
Yeah. Not good enough.
So who does the finger need to be pointed at here? Because obviously, look, we completely understand that if you are to show a lack of game management, if you are to show a lack of discipline, you know, plenty more attributes you can put down to the players. But at some point, do we need to start looking at Mauricio Pochettino's game management? And the reason I say that, I made this point earlier on the kickoff. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to the kickoff. Sorry, I should say. It's linked in the description to this video. I made the point. Every second half, we seem to be getting worse at the moment. Yeah. Like, we're coming out for the second half doing nowhere near as well as we've done in the first half. Today in the first half, we didn't do all that well. So what does that say? Surely questions, and again, like, let's remember there is middle ground here. It doesn't mean that questions being asked mean I'm saying Pochettino out, but questions do need to be asked to Mauricio Pochettino after a performance like today, after a performance we saw on Wednesday night against Man United, and even the Brighton match, that plastered over the cracks, man, because we were disappointed in that game too.
I'll tell you what, right? Let's talk about the team selections, because that's the first thing we really judge Mauricio Pochettino on. When I looked at the team today, and I'm pretty sure you felt exactly the same way before the game started, I was quite happy with that starting 11.
I liked it. Yeah.
I didn't have any problem with that starting 11 at all. The only one that I wasn't sure of is Cucurella. I would have maybe put Colwell in from the start, but I didn't think Cucurella was that bad.
Ironically, Cucurella was one of our better players on
the day. There you go.
That's saying everything.
But for us to say, we're not sure about Poch's management, ultimately, the best team that we could put out, we basically did.
Yep.
Didn't we?
Yep.
So if you look at that, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm glad that we saw Broja start. I'm glad we saw Palmer on the right-hand side again. I'm glad we saw Gallagher
really
back.
Stake a claim, did he, Broja, into... I've said that he could do a much better job, I think, than Nicholas Jackson, and it's very harsh to judge someone off of one performance, one showing, but didn't show that much.
No, he didn't. But also, first game back after a serious injury, like first start, we should say. He's played a few games now. So I don't think we're expecting the world from him, but maybe I'm expecting more than, a clean sheet for Everton, maybe with a bit more guile and movement up top. I just don't think that we can totally blame Mauricio Pochettino for this. I think he's doing the best he can with the squad that he has, but we've spent £1 billion.
Right, I've got to stop you, mate.
Come on.
He's not doing the best he can with the squad he has.
What should we be doing right now?
We should be higher than 12th.
We should be.
Can I just get up?
Get in here.
Oh,
come on.
Who's this? Sorry, we have some special guests.
I did hear Josh say the best he can. Apparently, that's equal to Brentford, Wolves, Bournemouth.
All good teams.
And not as good as Fulham, West Ham, and some of the other bad. They're quite bad. I just wanted to put that in there.
But are those teams going through a transition, Brian? Have they signed the best youth product?
Fulham are only transitioning from the Championship to the Premier League. What sort of... No, listen. I'll tell you now. He's not doing the best he can. Again, I don't want my words to be lost in translation or lost in emotion, especially. Do I still have faith that Mauricio Pochettino is the best man that we can have in the hot seat right now? Yes, I do have faith. Is that faith dwindling game by game ever so slightly? Yeah, maybe it is. But I tell you what, this is by no means me saying I want Pochettino out of the job. I want someone else in. But ultimately, I have to call that when I said, because you would agree with me. You're not doing the best he could. When you're looking at the season and you're going, you drop points to West Ham, you drop points to Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, all of the teams, including Everton today, who are a little bit resurgent. But at the end of the day, you look at the price of our squad, the price of their squad. You look at our manager in comparison to their manager. We shouldn't be dropping points to these boys. No. Mauricio Pochettino has had enough time now to at least steady the ship somewhat. And the worst thing is, I texted you before the game, didn't I? And what did I say? Chelsea aren't winning today. I should not be going into matches against Everton, who, all right, yeah, good, they're a mid-table club this season, but I shouldn't be going into these matches knowing that there's not really much of a chance of us going to Goodison Park and getting any sort of result. It's hard to defend it, isn't it? You're having a long, hard think about it, and you're struggling to defend it.
Do you know what I'm really struggling with? Is this right? I'm finding it really difficult to criticise Pochettino in the situation that we're in right now, because there are people that have let him down at board level. There are players that are letting him down every single week. The setup that we had at the start of the game was exactly the starting lineup that I wanted to see, and yet we still haven't got anything based upon that. So what more can Mauricio Pochettino do on the pitch than what he's doing now? He's saying to them, you need to be tactically aware. We need to be passing the ball around. We need to be pressing high. He's setting the team out in the way that he wants to be playing the game. He has a philosophy. We're not sure what that philosophy is, are we?
No.
We're still 6 months. We're 6 months into this. We don't know how well he is setting up teams anymore. We're seeing Unai Emery completely set up and transform a team in Aston Villa. We're nowhere near that. So look, I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of Mauricio Pochettino. He's under pressure. He should be doing better. Totally agree. I'm not saying that 12th is where Chelsea should be at all. I'm saying the setup that we did today, that's what you and I would have done. So who are we blaming now? Can we blame the players? Yes, certainly we can blame the players. Can we blame the board? Yeah, certainly we can blame the board.
Okay, so he's flipped the script and he's given a completely different setup, different lineup that maybe appeases the fans a little bit more than he gave on Wednesday night. We lost both games.
did.
We lost both games.
Poorly.
And do you know the problem, Josh? Like, we lost the game on Wednesday night, and of course, Man United were a better team on the night. But the boys really, really let us down on Wednesday night, because it's like your judgment was poor. You're trying to dribble out of tight spaces and go for glory with individual runs in a game where you really not needed to do that, right? You need to show heart, resilience, and you didn't show any of it on Wednesday night. And today, we've come away beaten by Everton, and I can't even go in on a lack of effort. And it would make it easier. It would be more sickening for me, but it would make it easier for me to go, look, the boys didn't try, whatever. We did. We tried. We just weren't good enough. And at the end of the day, mate, if I had a penny for every time that said $1 billion spent, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. I'd be rich living on a beach somewhere. But at the end of the day, we have spent $1 billion since Todd Bowley's ownership. And obviously, we're not seeing any of that translate on the pitch. We're up against an Everton side, a Man United side the other match, Brentford in weeks gone by, when we're looking and we're going, we don't look like we ultimately have that much more class. And Mauricio Pochettino clearly thinks the same, because he's come out and he has said, this was a game to play and to win. It's a problem we need to check. We need to analyse the reality. We need to talk and try to improve in the next transfer window.
First time he's mentioned January as being a serious moment in our season.
So we've got two signings that still haven't featured, obviously, in Romeo Lavia and Christopher Nkunku. When Romeo Lavia comes back into the fold, I very much want to see one of our £100 million players in the likes of Caicedo and Enzo. I want to see one of them boys dropped, and I want to see Romeo Lavia put into the starting lineup. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. If it was up to me, if it was up for, I would, yeah.
Straight in.
Mate, you can't do the same thing and hope for different results. You've got to do something here. So those areas that Mauricio Pochettino is talking about, it's no secret. We need a number 9, don't we?
Yeah, definitely need a number 9. We need a bit more than that, though, as well, don't we?
Where?
I would say we need another winger.
Yeah.
I would say we probably need another goalkeeper. And then I think you'd argue and say that we potentially need another centre-back, which is insane when we've signed about 8 centre-backs. Would you agree with all of those?
No. I don't think that we necessarily need... it's all about the calibre of player you're buying, you know? Like, I think if we can go in there and get a couple of sturdy, experienced, well-rounded 25, 26-year-olds, then I'd sort of bite your hand off for it. The counterpoint to that is Axel Disasi's 25, and we're looking at it going, we need another centre-back. So this is the problem here. Centre-backs-wise, I think until the end of the season, we're fine. Ironically... we got a £200 million midfield, and let's remember one of our starters in midfield is coming through the academy. I feel like we need another midfielder. I don't feel like Enzo and Caicedo are enough at the minute. I don't feel like they're cutting it at the minute.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, it's about squad building going forward, right? And we've invested heavily in central midfield. We've got Santos, we've got Casadei coming back next year. They're going to be wanting to be in and around the first team.
They're both under the age of 22.
They're both young, but Lavia is 19 and, you know, Ugochukwu is 19. And
Premier
they've both
League
seen
experience.
minutes. They've got none. So this is the thing.
Lavia's
got a season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still chucking him in.
Yeah, we're clutching at straws. We're massively clutching at straws.
What I find crazy, though, is that 3 weeks ago, I remember us sitting down and going, Gallagher, Enzo, Caicedo, quality.
Yeah.
Maybe top 3 in the league, we were saying. Yeah. So we've changed our tune bloody quickly, haven't we?
Chelsea have changed their performances bloody quickly.
I agree. I've never seen us so open as we were in that Man United game. It's appalling. Especially in the midfield area. Really
if
fast.
you're Bowley and Eghbali, do they look at this right now and do they think, right, here's the most pressing issue, reinvest in the transfer market, go again and splash the cash? Or do they go, hold on, mate, you've got an absolute wealth of talent at your disposal here and you're not getting enough out of them? Because when we now go into the transfer market and look at it, I've got no doubt personally that if I'm Mauricio Pochettino, I don't care. We're hearing about us signing young players from Corinthians. We don't want it. We don't want it. I don't care whether they turn out to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. I want a couple of 25-year-old winners in here right now. So if, for example, they're thinking along those lines and they're going, right, let's let Mauricio Pochettino make the decision, is there not a decision they need to make in terms of thinking, is it Poch to make those calls? Do we want to bring him in? Let's say, for example, right, listen, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I am Poch in. I want Poch to stay. But if, for example, we're looking at Poch and we're going, you've got 2 games to save your job, because let's have it right completely here. No.
Very early.
Mate, listen, you've
Fair
grown
enough.
up your whole life as a Chelsea fan.
Yeah,
You
I
should
know.
know better than to say it's early.
Yeah.
If we lose against Sheffield United and then we get launched out the cup by Newcastle, I'm telling you now, as a Chelsea fan, I know my club, mate, then serious conversations are going to be being had. And if by that sort of expectation you are on 2 games to save your job, do you let him go back in the January transfer market with his money if you're not sure that he's the guy to turn it round?
This is a simple answer. I think it's a committee decision. I think, and at the end of the day, we've got all of these recruitment guys that have come in and they're going to be scouting all of the players, and they're the ones that are ultimately trying to find these Brazilian wonder kids. So maybe we do need to give Mauricio Pochettino some responsibility here and say to him, yeah, you do need to be able to go out there and find your sort of stalwarts, your sort of like your elite mentality players that have been there, done that, had the experience, maybe aren't the quality or the potential that we're seeing with some of these, I don't know, these signings. I mean, Andre Santos meant to be one of the best DMs in the world. You know, you look at the high praise he's getting from in Brazil. So maybe you do need to be doing that. But
I'll take a
ultimately,
Ruben Neves in midfield.
do you know who I would take in centre mid? Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
I said this the other day. We are calling out for Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
We would be
He was a
desperate for
Lewis
it.
Balak.
Look, I loved him. I absolutely loved him. Do you know what's even sadder? Maybe we could have done with Kovacic.
Yeah.
We've let so many players go, and ultimately now maybe we need to be questioning the ability of the recruitment guys from the sales perspective, not just the incomings, because they've sold a lot of players that could have done a job at Chelsea. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me is the most obvious one, because he could certainly be doing a job and leading by example.
Reece James, our captain, back on the sidelines. No doubt he'll be out for about 10 weeks or something like that now with a hamstring issue. So another injury to worry about, but at least one that we're almost used to by now, missing Reece James. Malo Gusto needs to come back. In the shortest answer we can give, is Mauricio Pochettino still the man for the job?
Yes. I think we'll probably end up with no trophies. We'll finish 10th, and I think that Mauricio Pochettino will still have a job in August next year.
I'd agree. I definitely agree in terms of not finishing anywhere near those Europa League spots. The ironic thing now is we've got a run of like 4 or 5 games where we should be taking maximum points, like we really should. And all of a sudden, if you look at the other team's fixtures and you look at the fact that if we did take maximum points from there, we'd be right on for a Europa League push. But we've almost been beaten into acceptance already this early on in the season to knowing the season's pretty much done. And you might win a game here and there, you'll lose a game, draw a game. But that's just what it is for now.
Look, it's okay to say that he's not been good enough and that the players have not been good enough and the board are not good enough without saying that we want him sacked.
Yeah.
That's literally as simple as we need to go for this. So I think as Chelsea fans, we do need to grit our teeth. We have been very lucky as a fan group to be able to deal with success after success. And we deserve the best because we've spent the amount of money that we spent and we've got, one of the best recruitment teams in the world. We've got arguably one of the best squads in the world. That's what they're saying. If you spend £1 billion, that's what you should be expecting. So, we've got to see it now on the pitch.
Inevitably, there will be subscribers and viewers that will be in the comment section telling us, as they have done in videos gone by, that they do want Pochettino out and they do want someone else to take the reins for the rest of this season and going forward. And as much as we might not agree with them, we've got to entertain that theory. If it was to happen, who do Chelsea go for?
Honestly, I find this so difficult. The one that I would love to see back, if it was like, just get your favourite manager in, I'd take Carlo back, Carlo Ancelotti. I'd love
Carlo
to see him.
come?
But that's the thing. Of course he would. Of course he would. Would Jose come back?
Jose come.
Jose would come. He would take the call and he'd go, yeah, screw Roman, don't even remember who he is. I'll happily come in with the new board. Don't even know what you guys are like. I love it when you sign Brazilian wonder kids because that's exactly what I want in my team. Jose doesn't want that.
No.
Jose wants the best players in the world.
Do you know what Jose's about?
Winning.
Romance.
Winning, mate.
Romance.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he loves a bit of romance.
He does love a bit of romance, but Chelsea's a completely different club from when he left. Completely different. So this is the thing. Like we're romantic, wanting him back. I'm thinking back of those heady days, 2005, when we were conceding 16 goals a season.
Not the one off the bottle. I'd love him back.
The special one.
I'd love him back. I don't think I'd want him over Poch, but I'd like him back. People, we want to know your thoughts. Let's not have your thoughts on the game because let's be honest, we know what it was. It was a shit show, as we're seeing week in, week out at the minute. Myself and Josh will both be at the Sheffield United game next week. And we're both going to the Newcastle game as well, aren't we, in the
Can't wait
Cup?
for
So that'd be good. Let us know your thoughts, guys. Are you still Poch out? What do you think needs doing? And if we do go into the January transfer window, which it's mad, man, we've spent a lot of money and I'm sat here. I've been saying this for a few weeks with Brian and with yourself. We need about 3-4 signings, and that is
And he's
crazy.
laughing at us.
Absolutely crazy.
yeah.
But if we do need those signings, who are we going for? Because I'm actually finding it difficult to think of players off the top of my head who we should go for. So let us know in the comment section below. If you are not already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. This video probably won't do too well on the views because people don't want to hear me talk about Chelsea when we're losing. So make sure it maximizes as much as it can by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Josh's channel. It will be linked, and the kickoff is linked in the description to this video. And we'll see you all in the next one.